there? 1 second. Okay. So you put a question in here. How can the ecosystem trust after any mine input their data? Good question. So I think I covered that, but the idea is that the mine is, maybe in the demo, you saw the actual data entry for the actual values, and that was being done in that demo by would have been a provincial government employee. However, that's one of the things that we're pivoting on is who the issuer of that actual credential is going to be. And that's where PricewaterhouseCoopers comes into the picture. So they are the ones who are actually inputting the data into their system. It will then be linked to Traction to actually issue that as a credential and be sent as a verifiable credential to, in our case, Copper Mountain. And Copper Mountain is not allowed. They have no capability to edit that data. And so it stays as the original data that PricewaterhouseCoopers put in. So once they present that credential and the data attributes to Open Climate or to any verifier, they can be assured that that data has not been tampered with by the mine. They have not input their own data, anything like that. So that's where the trust really comes in that ecosystem, from knowing the technology that that information came all the way from the original assurer or the issuer that was PricewaterhouseCoopers. Yes, so the next question you have is, were some ESG standards established and or developed under the standards body like ISO? So the answer is yes. There are a number of standards bodies like ISO, and they have all developed standards, but they're not specifically verifiable credential format standards. Right now, those standards exist really as PDFs, and they are guidelines and to a certain degree table format type of information or specifications for doing the reporting. When the report is actually created following those standards, it's usually in a PDF format, but they all follow, fairly different formats right now. So there isn't a standard report, excuse me, but there is standards to follow to create that report. And so that's one of the challenges that we are facing right now, is coming up with an actual standard report or form, if you really want to take it that far, or data structure for reporting that information. We're looking at using the ANONCREDS format and developing a schema that can be used to transmit that information. And we might end up creating multiple schemas, one per disclosure, which is a sub part of a standard, or there could be one schema which is very large, which covers an entire standard. So we're still working on what those are going to look like. So does that answer your questions? I think those were from you, Benny. Okay, there's another question here. Who is the node operator? So the node operators, those are entities who run blockchain nodes, and it depends on the actual ledger that's being used. And so we are still exploring which production ledger we're going to be using for this pilot. It's quite possible that it will be the Sovereign Foundation, if you're familiar with that Hyperledger Indy network or set of nodes. And in Sovereign, there is a whole bunch of different node operators for that network. We are also developing a Canadian indie network called Candy, and that will be a number of nodes across Canada. We also have a few test networks that we are using. Those are probably what we're going to do the development on. And then, yeah. Yeah, for that Candy network, the province of BC will be a node operator, but not just the province. There'll be other nodes in other places. Any other questions? Yeah, so the ecosystem will expand globally beyond Canada. For the ecosystem that we're talking about here, this is really around the verifiable credentials for ESG reporting. Right now, it's really around the global GHG emissions, and working with Open Earth and the UNFCCC. That's sort of that ecosystem space, and it is completely international. That is, we can even have companies in different countries all reporting information in the similar format to Open Earth, to their portal, and that can be used internationally. So we'll be happy to, point other people in the right direction for, how they can do that. And I know Open Earth would be interested in consuming, GHG emission data from other cities or companies or countries to fulfill the goal that they have